Aggressive leaders, effective ones, that is, push members of their team hard, and then even harder still, knowing that one of their responsibilities is to get that little extra effort necessary for a team to achieve top results. A team needs a leader to set the pace, to set the standard, and find the motivational drivers to get the best from each player, often beyond where the player themselves thought they could go. That's what the right leader can do. Bring a collective to maximum productivity as a team. In fact, if you don't know how to do that, you will soon be replaced because in the end, failure will be the leader's fault. At the same time, it is just as important to understand that extra effort, in whatever form it takes, mental, physical, emotional, cannot be sustained without eventual damage and diminishing returns. The leader has to be acutely aware of where that line is and when it's time to let up a bit, to allow for the recharging of internal batteries of those on your team. This is one of the great leadership challenges, finding that middle ground between the well-being of the team and the achievement of the goals. And here is one of the great challenges we have as leaders. Most of us have risen to the top largely because we outwork everybody else around us. That's one of the reasons why we got to the top in the first place. So then, looking at the world from our perspective, it's easy to think that everybody should do as we do. However, not everybody has the same drive and desire that we do. And we have to realize this. Not everybody wants to work, striving and driving to achieve, to overtake their lives like maybe we do. That's just the reality. One of the art parts of leadership is knowing when to drive people beyond their perceived limits to their highest output of effort and when to take your foot off the accelerator just a little bit and just for a bit. Bill Walsh, the head coach of the Dynasty 49ers during my youth, confessed to making such a mistake. During his 9th year as head coach, the 49ers had the best overall record in the NFL, 13-2, and were designated the odds-on choice to win Super Bowl 22. When it was time to prepare his team for the playoffs leading into the championship game, he did something he had never done before. During practices, he drove his team into the ground. You see, the previous 2 years, the 49ers had lost in the first round of the playoffs, and that had been hard to take. So he overcorrected by pushing them harder in areas he felt needed improvement. So hard that they became exhausted and at the worst possible time, about to face the very strong Minnesota Vikings for the NFC Championship. The 49ers got beat because they were beat. The owner of the franchise, Eddie DeBartolo, was so furious that he almost fired Walsh. It was his poor leadership, after all, that had prepared his team improperly, in this case by overworking them. As Bill Walsh confessed in his book, The Score Takes Care of Itself, this is one of the most difficult areas of leadership. By instinct, we, leaders, want to run hard all the time. By intellect, we know this is not possible. Reconciling these two positions in the context of leadership is an ongoing challenge. It's easy to fall into the trap of pushing your team to the brink and then over the brink because there's comfort in knowing that if we are defeated, at least we worked our team as hard as possible. For a hard-working leader, that can be easy to do. What's difficult to do is to recognize when extra effort, when extreme exertion, working as hard as possible, starts to produce diminishing returns. Make no mistake, a team of humans needs a leader to push them beyond where they would go without you. But you also have to be smart enough as a leader to know when it's time to pump the brakes. So tell us, whether you lead a team at the office, at church, or those right in your own house, right now, do you think you aren't driving your team hard enough? Or has this lesson spoke to you and just maybe now might be a good time to pump the brakes just a bit? Share with us in the comments below. And thanks to my buddy Brad Pedersen for sharing Walsh's book with me. Hey, before you go, just a parting thought. Today's episode, we talked about how you have a hero inside of you. Yes, you, the one looking at me right now, you. But you have to wake up that hero within. Sometimes our hero within is suppressed and imprisoned by fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, and the list goes on and on. To help you unlock the prison doors to free the hero within, we've published a special series on Darren Daily On Demand on how to conquer fear once and for all. Just click the link below and start streaming it now, and subscribe to be sure that you don't miss any of the fantastic episodes that we release weekly on Darren Daily On Demand. It's a great way to get even better every day while on the go. Enjoy.